What's up, family? It is your girl, Empress J. And I know it's been a long time, but it is time for the Naked Empress. The good, the bad, and the ugly about soca stardom. So, this is my Miami Carnival 2021 rewind recap. The good, the bad, and the ugly about Carnival. I know it's like, you're late. Everybody's been talking about Carnival and it's been 2 weeks or what have you. Well, it's okay. I like for people to talk, observe, and then I'll come back and make my comments. So, here we go. Miami Carnival 2021 was a blast. It had its good, its bad, and its ugly, of course. Shout out to my management company, Red Rock Entertainment. I was able, alongside my girl Lapana, grace the stage of One Fete. And also, we did Daybreak Beach Fete. If you missed that, it was a time. Some little glitches here and there. We'll talk about that. But grateful for every opportunity to grace the stage, pick up a mic, say something, had a good time, pick up my team that came out. I'll try to put that stuff in here. Yeah. So we had a great time. I was glad to see so many people I haven't seen in a long time. Shout out to Miami Carnival Committee, also my promotional partners for Afri-Caribbean Festival. Yes, shameless plug. We'll talk about that at the end. But they did a very decent job of being COVID safe, of requiring everyone to have tests. And if you did not come with a negative test, you were tested on site, and if you tested positive, you were sent along your way. You know, there were some other little glitches that had nothing to do with the committee itself, but some security on another side of the park. But from everyone that I know who participated, came back, retested, and so forth, no one positive that I know of tested positive, nor myself. So, you know, I think it was a great template to show people that you can gather and be safe, gather in large numbers and be safe. So big up to Miami Carnival for that. So there were some highlights. Like I said, big up. I played with someone else. I'm not even going to say because I know that, well, I was supposed to play with someone else, but I'm not going to even mention that because so many people have voiced their opinions about their costumes or lack thereof, and I was no stranger to the foolishness with costume distribution and lack of what you ordered and all of that. But I don't want to focus on that. But who I played with did not have their Jouvert truck, so big up the Jouvert truck breakaway crew that I did play with and got although it was not organized properly, and I've already cussed them out, the quick performance at the end. But, you know, music was working the whole time down the road, and as soon as we get to time for action and performance, the generator go out. But I'm not even going to focus on that ugly either, because that is not going to be the bulk of the topic of today. Overall, Miami Carnival 2021 was a time. We had great events. We had a great, it gives me anxiety. So moving on from that, other than that, promoters, I hope lessons learned. Let's do it better. I know it's been 2 years since we've done something, but you've done this in the past. This goes for the bands and the promoters. You've done this before. You might not have done it in 2 years because of the pandemic, but you understand what to do. And I think a lot of people just dropped the ball on that. Some people say it was short timing. Yeah, I can put that on there, but I don't know if we're going to make that. Not going to make it for me. And I'm not bashing bands and all of that because I know the ins and outs. I've had my own band back in the day at DC Carnival, so I know there's a lot of logistics. But with that, you have to be prepared. And if you're not prepared, suggestion, bands. If you're coming up a week or two before Carnival and you realize that you don't have enough help, why don't you do something creative, like send out a blast and say first 10 people to respond who's coming in early or who's in the area and available to work shifts to put together packages. Please let us know, and we'll take $100 off of your costume. We'll refund you $100 off your costume for helping us put it together. I mean, if there are pros and cons to it, it's ins and outs. It's just something I thought of, but I just don't think that we thought of creative ways to remedy our short-staffedness, remedy the issues of distribution and those types of things. So what I really want to get to is my concern with Carnival was that the spirit of the culture of Carnival seemed lacking. Yes, it was a time, and I think because this is probably one of the biggest festivals to happen in person in a while. There have been a few others, but I think it just drew out a lot of people that necessarily don't understand the culture, who may not have grown up with the culture, who just see pretty costumes and naked bodies, and that's what they thought it was. And that's what I want to address. And I know I'm going to get a whole lot of flack for this, and I don't care, because this is my opinion. And y'all can try to Dave Chappelle me, because he's my inspiration if you want to. But just how you have the right to do what you want to do and love who you want to love, and love is love and people is people and all of that. I have the right to feel how I feel, and I can disagree with you without it being an interrogation against you or a plot against you. I just don't have the same feelings or ideas that you do. So I put that disclaimer. So I am here because it was so chaotic on the road. When I had people who came on the road to see me perform. People came to jump up with me. Things didn't happen the way they were supposed to happen. So there was a lot going on. So I didn't see a lot. I did get to see some beautiful costumes. It was an African-inspired costume with beading and black and white sequin. Oh my God, it was so gorgeous. Big up to whoever that designer was. I wish I had gotten that one because it was beautiful, and I actually saw people in their costume. I don't know if there was problems with it or not, but it was a beautiful costume. So I did see a lot of men with headpieces on and backpacks, and I saw a few of my friends, my girls, my diva. I don't call flamboyant men divas. I call them peacocks, because the peacocks that open their feathers out wide and they're very beautiful, they're actually males, and they do that to get attention. So I don't call men divas. I don't call them queens, because they don't bleed and they haven't earned that. But that's just my opinion. So I saw a lot of my peacocks out there, and I can't say mine because I don't own anybody. I saw a lot of peacocks out. And, I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. I saw a lot of females that chose to wear the male costume. I was like, that was more than usual, but I had so many other things going on that I didn't focus on that. So my focus was drawn to it after I was sent alive to jump on. A few guys from Brooklyn, pick up my New York family, and they were talking about various things that happened to them on the road. Some big girl that was accosting people, and shame on your ass, you're giving us big girls a bad name. Got these men out here fearing us. And just different things. But the one thing that really stuck out that I wanted to talk about on the Naked Empress was, the influx of the LGBTQ and all the other letters community that was on the road in costume. The men in thongs, even women who weren't, and don't get me wrong, y'all know Empress is the bad gal of soca. I, as big as my ass is, I am there. I live for a thong. Matter of fact, that's what I always order when I order a costume, even if I don't get it. Stay away from that. But, I'm there for freedom. I hate clothes. I like being naked. But I think that some of the costuming kind of took away from the tradition and the culture of Carnival. And we have to find a way to have that fine line to not necessarily evolve, but to grow and to have other people experience it without compromising the culture. And I say that because you wouldn't go to a traditional geisha house and say, oh, well, the geisha gowns are too long, so let's make them short. Like it's certain things that are traditional to other cultures that even if you participate in Chinese New Year, you don't say, oh, well, I think the dragons look too scary, let's make them look like this. Well, this has been done for centuries. So we're gonna, you enjoy it without trying to change it. I think we have changed some things within Carnival to appease the masses, and we have to find a way to have people participate and still respect what Carnival is about, what the spirit of Carnival is. It is a freedom. It is celebration of culture. It is celebration of being human, even in being enslaved and being freed from that, and tragedy. And it's about a moment in time to not worry about anything and to just express the beauty of being human, the beauty of nature, the beauty of being alive. So yes, it's all of that, but it's more. And so it's our responsibility to really teach people about the culture, teach people what is a wine, what is not, the sexual innuendos that, amongst our culture, we know a wine is a wine, and then sometimes it's not. And we have to be honest about that. But, we know what it is, but everyone else does. They take it for face value. So they're like, oh, they don't wear clothes. I don't like wearing clothes. I'm going to wear even less. Oh, it's about freedom in life. I'm free. I'm gonna be a man wearing a thong and, showing my beautiful body and peacocking it out here, and that's fine. The problem comes is that with all of this openness and acceptance, do we now put ourselves in a precarious situation? And I'm here advocating for my straight men. The one thing that I heard in this conversation on this live was just how once they realized it was so many transgender men on the road and so many flamboyant men in costuming on the road, that they felt uncomfortable, and a lot of them left. Or if they were working with the trucks, they stayed on the truck or they got in the truck so that they wouldn't, put themselves in a position to feel uncomfortable. And not only that, to be accused of something that they're not. So it's now a trend that if you even voice your opinion that you're not, that's not your belief system or your preference, that you're now against. It's like you were either with me or you're against me, and it's not that type of party, because we still live in a free country. That's what you keep hollering, but then you want to oppress me with your opinion. So my concern is for my straight men, and I'm there. I heard it loud and clear, and that's what, it was so many things to talk about with Carnival for the Naked Empress that I'm glad that I got on that live, because it helped me narrow it down. I don't want to focus on distribution and what people didn't get. I don't have. That song became popular because of that. I don't want to talk about the guy who picked up the big girl and now it's turned into a sexual assault conversation. I'm like, I think that's a little too far, because when a Bama tried to pick me up and I can see his knee weak and I'm a plush pound, everybody can't pick me up. I'm quick to be like, no. And I know you know it mean no, because I give you that look no, and then I push you away. But I didn't want to get into that. I really wanted to get into, we need to be careful of what we're allowing to be used as in this cancel culture, what we're using to allow people to bully other people into the agenda at hand. So, you know, I really felt for the men who, you want to take a wine on a woman, but you're not sure if it's a woman. And you want to take a wine on a woman and you don't want a man to come wine behind you. And then if you discover that it's a man behind you and you don't want that, you don't want to then be accused of a hate crime or gay bashing, because that's not your preference. And see, I could imagine being uncomfortable. I could imagine that my straight men were uncomfortable because they don't know what they're whining on. And they don't want to be put in a position where if they turn down someone of the same sex for a wine, that it turns into this big thing. Oh, you don't like gay people, you're gay bashing, oh, that's a hate crime. Or even if a man naturally reacted to another man winding up so like grinding hard on them, and then they figure out it's a man and their natural reaction is to turn and hit them, then they could be charged with a hate crime. That's very disturbing to me. It's very disturbing that we cannot, that a group of people can seemingly be allowed to sexually harass and assault another group of people based on if they disagree with the advancement. And you can say that that's far-fetched, that's not right, and it's, the travesty that has happened to this community, the beatings and the we can say all of that, but now the tides are turning. Now no one can say anything without it being that. And that's not right. It's not fair. And I'm going to speak against it. That's the real ugly part that I saw. That I can't even get a wine from a man because the man's scared that another man going to come wine behind me. I can't get a wine with a man because they all hiding because they don't want to wine up on a woman that might be really a man. Because that's not their preference. Not because they want to bash them. Because they like women, and they like women who were born women. And there were some out there that can care less about a transgender. They don't care if you turned yourself into a girl, you look like a girl to them. To each his own. But when we say to each his own, it need to be to each his own. My brother should not be ostracized because their own is another born female. And that's what they want to line up on. So I missed out on enough wine because of this issue. And not only that, I just think it took away from the spirit of Carnival, the tradition of Carnival, the culture of Carnival. I think there were a lot of people who see it, they follow the culture, but really don't understand the culture and really don't participate in other than the fanfare of Carnival. And it kind of pushed people who this is what they do and this is what their culture, it kind of pushed them away because I know it left a bad taste in my mouth. And I definitely don't want to play mass in Miami again. I have other things that I'll perform on a truck. I'll perform on the main stage. I'll do all the things that I need to do, but playing mass, it has lost its spark, at least here in Miami. And like I said, it could be because it's the first big thing out since this pandemic and everybody wanted to just have a great time, no matter what the great time was. But we need to really support our straight men in teeth and wine and be respectful and being respectful with it. But I just didn't find a lot of men on the road that like women and were comfortable to wine without feeling like they were going to be placed in a position that they could either be offended or offend someone else is based on their opinion, or even accused of a hate crime. So, you know, it made it a little strange. It made it a little strange. And I hope that we can work on that. Work on respecting our culture. Work on respecting Carnival. And we can move on from there. Now, with that being said, apologies if you felt some type of way. It's just how I feel. I'm not against gay people. I'm not against LGBTQ. I'm not against anybody. I have my own personal feelings on everything, and they're my personal feelings. Has nothing to do with you. I love everybody. I love you for being a human, not for who you have sex with. Yeah. But please still respect the culture. Respect the history behind it and the meaning behind it, and respect people who don't necessarily prescribe to what you do, and they should not fear being accused or arrested or even bash themselves for having their own preference. With that being said, I'm closing out the Naked Empress. Also, be on the lookout for new music. Boss EP is out right now. Please go cop it. It is free streaming on all digital platforms. Make sure you go download it, go purchase it, use it in a TikTok, find your favorite song, tag me in it at Empress J Music. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Don't just watch this, subscribe. Again, Miami Carnival 2021 was lit. It was productive, and I had a good time, but we need to get it together. Bands, promoters, and participants, let's do better. And finally, don't forget, December 2022, we are bringing soca to Sierra Leone, Africa, with the Afro-Caribbean Festival in Sierra Leone. It is going to be on the 28th of December through January 2nd. Yes, we can spend the New Year's doing something different next year, spending in Africa. A lot of you into the year returning Ghana. Let's go somewhere else. Let's reconnect to our roots, because there's a strong connection to the Caribbean and Sierra Leone, Freetown. So come learn about that connection. Come enjoy some great soca DJs and artists to be announced, and let's just do something different. We are a Black-owned business going back to Africa to help with bringing business back to Africa as well. So we'll never get better if we don't invest in ourselves. So make sure you invest in that. Go follow afri.caribbean on IG, and the website is africaribbeanfestival.com. Partnered up again with Miami Carnival, promoting it. Big up all our promotional partners and future promotional partners. If you're interested in that, hit me in my DM or hit the DM on Afri-Caribbean. And with that, the Naked Empress is out.